This here is the Zalman i4, and it's a perfect candidate for our $550 budget PC build. So not only does it have a mesh front panel, top panel, and left side panel, it also has a graphics card holder, a bracket included in the chassis. It also comes with 6 120mm fans. That's right, all in a $60 to $70 budget. But wait, there's more. How about a Ryzen 5 5500 6-core 12-thread CPU, a B550 Plus Asus Prime motherboard, and 16 gigs of sexy DDR4. An NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1660 for under $100 used on eBay will also fit nicely. We pushed for 1 terabyte worth of storage in this budget and also fitted a 550 watt BP power supply. It's gonna be a fun one, and I hope you'll stick around for the ride. Are you ready? Stay with me. If you're planning your next PC build, then consider checking out our sponsor, VIP SCD Key. Their Windows 10 and 11 OEM keys sell for a fraction of retail and will unlock the full potential of your OS. This month only, you can snag Windows 10 and 11 Home and Pro OEM keys for 30% off using our promo code GSVIP. Simply click the link below, select Buy Now, and pay with a secure payment method like PayPal. At checkout, don't forget our code again, GSVIP, and watch as 30% ripped right off the top, bringing Windows 10 down to $15 and Windows 11 to $21. Then hop over to the user center and click View Key/Codes, and there you have it, a genuine OEM Windows key that'll lock to your combination of hardware. Be sure to stick around till later when we'll show you how to activate Windows with said key. In the meantime though, check out those links below and don't forget our special code GSVIP to save 30%. Now, in case you're wondering, this is the component breakdown on PC Part Picker. Small discrepancy in the 1 terabyte NVMe, but otherwise pretty black and white. The graphics card, of course, is going to have a manual overridden price because we purchased this from eBay, and I think these are pretty great deals at, again, under 100 USD shipped. 1660s aren't anything to gawk at, but if you're willing to game in 1080p, medium settings in most titles, this will serve you just fine with a 6-core 12-thread CPU. Let's get straight to building then, starting first with our platform. And wow, this isn't any super fancy motherboard. It doesn't need to be in this budget. Also, want to stress that, well, if I could, there we go. I want to stress that we're not going to be able to see much of this anyway because our left side panel is, of course, mesh and not tempered glass. Fun fact, the corners of PCBs are quite sharp. This is a little cringe, but look at that. Also effective. Effective. 5500 is going in, retention arm up. It just drops into the socket. And back down we go. NVMe going in. Again, the green's probably bothering some of you, but we won't be seeing it. Down goes the cooler, and we'll just tighten down the 4 Phillips screws that are spring-loaded. And lastly, for our platform, 16 gigs of DDR4. Now, normally I'd push for 32. This is a budget build, so we're making a small compromise here. I think we'll still be okay for most games in 1080p. Let's not forget this rear IO shield. Make sure this is good and situated. Here's all of our hardware. Platform time. Let's carefully slide it on in here. We're trying a new camera angle. Raymond doesn't like it. Let us know in the comment section below. Last of the screws going in. And next up, all of these. I am trying my hardest to make this not look like someone just spilled spaghetti all over the floor. No, my friends, you do not need a 1000 watt, 80 plus platinum, titanium, diamond, whatever PSU for a budget build. Be gentle with me. We still have to connect the graphics card, but so far, it's not too bad. You know, for a 1660, this is an impressively beefy cooler, although the card you can see is not very thick. We're gonna install this right away into the Zalman i4. I've gotta say, Zalman has some fairly impressive cases. They're a bit under the radar in the case market, but I'm really happy with this one for the price. The card's bracket is situated, supplemental PCIe cable connected, and here we are. Not too bad. It actually looks really clean. Super impressed, again, with this case, its price point, and what it offers, and allows for even extended length graphics cards. I'm ready to turn this thing on. Power cable in, power switch in the on position. Here goes the button. Ooh, that's a good sign. And well, how's she look, Raymond?
Not bad.
In case you're wondering, this is what the rig looks like with the left side panel on. Figured you'd be curious about this since it's mesh and not tempered glass, or, well, at the worst, acrylic. I'm actually surprised, now that the rig is in here, how porous this panel is. You can see very clearly through to the RGB components. So, nice gaming PC. Everything seems to be working, but we all know that pesky activation watermark's gonna pop up sooner or later. So if you've already gotten a key from VIP SCD key, your next step should be to copy said key and navigate to the activation tab within Windows settings. You can get there quickly by typing activate in your search tab and clicking enter. From here, click change or add product key, paste your code, allow Windows to run its checks, and then click activate. Give it a minute, you should notice your watermark disappear along with a message that Windows has been successfully activated. If you're having issues with your key, triple check that you've entered it correctly and that it corresponds to your version of Windows. VIP SCD Key's special sale is happening only in April, so be sure to snag a key or two before it's too late. And be sure to use my special offer code GSVIP for a sweet discount on a variety of options, including Windows 10, Windows 11, and more. After installing NVIDIA drivers for our trusty GTX 1660, I loaded up 3D Mark Time Spy, which admittedly is a bit taxing on a card that's intended for 1080p gaming. This is a DX12 1440p synthetic, and it ultimately ended up scoring only better than just over 20% of all submitted results. But when you keep in mind the fact that this only cost us about $550, I'd say this is a job well done. Most people, after all, aren't gaming in heavy 1440p with $500 systems. Next one's an old classic. It feels weird calling GTA 5 a classic, but it has been out for roughly 10 years, if I'm not mistaken. This one in 1080p, high settings across the board with no anti-aliasing, performed very, very well. In fact, we were hitting the frame cap for this game in certain scenes. Things did definitely roughen up just a bit during the transition to the road scene, but otherwise things were very smooth and the frame rate was very healthy, somewhere around 140 FPS or higher on average. Rounding things out then with a newer title, F123, this one also in 1080p with the high preset, but of course no DLSS or anything to help us out. This averaged around 70 to 80 FPS, which I still think is quite playable. I would say 60 FPS minimum for a racing game like this on a PC, but considering this card cost under $100 and our CPU is actually sharing a good portion of this workload, I'd say this is a fairly enjoyable experience. All in all, I was a bit worried that the graphics card might be underperforming compared to our 6-core CPU, even though the 5500 is obviously a few generations old by this point. The graphics card held its own, and I think that if you're managing your expectations for 1080p gameplay, this combination of hardware presents a great value. I'm very curious what you guys think of this one. Personally, I think considering the price of 1660s today, they drive pretty hard bargains, and I don't see anything wrong with AM4, especially the later generation AM4 stuff. The 5500 is on the lower end of that totem pole, but it still provides a decent upgrade path, and if you can squeeze that into a $500 budget, I think that's a job well done. If all I had to spend was $550 on a gaming PC, it would look exactly like this. I do have a slight NVIDIA preference because I do video edit and I use CUDA acceleration, so there's that, but I definitely still see the value in AM4 and the 5500. Well, it was conveniently around because it was one of the few things that was actually delivered from Hype Drop. That video is something else. With that, be sure to check out all of the products featured in this build video down in the video description. We also want to throw a little something at you. If you can find an awkward frame of just my face, I don't know, just zoom in on my face and I'm making some weird pose like any one of these shots here. Raymond's gonna show you some examples from editing this very video. We'd like you guys to tweet us your favorite Greg face frames. And I think maybe like hashtag Greg face, something like that. We'll stick with that for now. Just include hashtag Greg face. We'll have it in the video description. And the funniest still frame of my face will win a $100 Amazon gift card. We'll try to keep this up for a few videos. I think it'll be fun. Maybe we can turn some of those still frames into emotes or what are they? Not memes, but whatever Discord has, like the little emotes. Is that what they're called? Emotes? Yeah. We're gonna link those to our Discord server, which you should join, by the way, because it is totally free. Free's always good. You know, free is about as cheap as it gets. If you like this video, consider giving it a thumbs up, subscribing, and leave a comment down below letting me know what you thought about this one. And thank you so much for watching. My name's Greg, and thanks for building with me.